Hey, this is the Notebooks meeting for the 19th of June. It is a public holiday for the US and for a few other places, so we might have less people than usual, but we're just gonna do the meeting for now and see what we can get planned for the break, because I'm assuming some people want to do some stuff over the break anyway. Okay, so as always, just if you don't know what Notebooks 2.0 is, which is the main thing we're working on, look at this issue, Kubeflow/notebooks, number 85 on the Notebooks repo. It overviews why we're doing this. It's a full rewrite, the changes, how you can contribute. Main way to contribute is to join these meetings and or the Slack channel, Kubeflow-notebooks. And if you've got experience with programming or other things that might be helpful, please reach out. It's always good. We have a roadmap document, which is more of a high-level roadmap of what we're trying to achieve rather than specific items. So, from the perspective of personas, I won't go through them now, but there's two main personas, which is the actual user of the environment and the manager of the environment. Okay. If you are a user of notebooks, please add yourself to the notebooks adopters file in the new this brand new file in the notebooks repo. That includes people who use it as part of a platform or that you sell or use yourself or anything else like that. For example, Red Hat added themselves because they use it as part of OpenShift AI. And if you are a user of Kubeflow overall, you could also add your name here or to any of the other projects, which have their own adopters files, which is great. If there's anyone new in the call right now, we always have a chance to just say hi. If anyone feels comfortable, they can feel free to.
Yeah, I'm new in the but let Christian go first.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Chris. And yeah, I just wanted to have a look at how things are going over here. Yeah, sadly, I can't yet disclose like who I represent in a sense, but I'm working on getting ourselves to the aforementioned adopters list. So hopefully soon.
That's cool. Do you have any interest in adding, like, helping with some of the code, or do you just want to just see for now?
At first, I just want to have a look at like how these meetings usually go and what the governance is, but at some point I might pop in a question or two because I have general like quite a big experience with open source. So maybe that comes in handy.
Yeah, if you ever want to contribute code, always that's great as well. Lots of stuff going on with 2.0 and lots of tasks around other things as well. So that's great to have you. And Paul. Hello.
Hi, I'm Paulo, and nice to meet you guys. It's my first time I come here to this meeting. I got the invitation via Ricardo, so I know Ricardo Eder. We all working in Red Hat, and then I'm on the field of MLOps using Kubeflow and key server on our customers. And yeah, I want to contribute more and help you guys here. So that's why I joined the call here and can help testing and doing some coding eventually. So that's I'm here. So to use my spare time and any available time. I'm based in UK and I'm living in South England, and surprisingly, it's sunny and hot here today. So thank you.
Oh, hi. Anyone else who wants to say hi and hasn't before?
Hi, this is Sunny. So I think first of all, thank you so much guys for all the work you guys are doing.
I think you're
This is my
glitching out. Hello?
oh yeah, can you hear me clearly?
Not really.
Okay, I think there's some problem with my internet, so maybe next time.
You're kind of like going in
Sorry.
and out. It might be even your microphone.
No, actually, there's some problem with my internet connection. I can hear you guys clearly, but I'm not sure.
You might want to rejoin. But okay, cool. Anyway,
That's okay. You guys continue. It's okay.
yeah, but hi. Anyway, hi. I can't really understand you, but hi.
All right.
Do you if you want to say something, you could type it in the chat or something. But yeah, do you are you from Red Hat, I guess, or somewhere else?
No, no, no. I am currently working in Germany in a public sector organization. They're just trying to look at the notebooks latest version. We currently use the previous version at our workplace, and yeah, I just wanted to check out how things are going, where we are, I tried to do some of the testing for the version 2, so a little bit of know-how I have, but yeah, I don't know if you guys were able to hear me or not, but
We kind
yeah.
of can. So yeah, if you have things if you have time to contribute, it's always welcome to do that. The best way to find things to do is say what you're good at in the Kubeflow Notebook Slack channel. If you don't have a task that you know how to do already, so like you could say I'm good at programming Go, I've done controllers, or I've done networking, or I'm a security researcher, or I'm I don't know, an ML ops person, a DevOps person. It could be anything, right? Just say what you do, and then we can probably find you a task. So that goes to anyone who's watching the call as well. The Kubeflow Notebook Slack channel.
Okay, thank you so much. I would like to conclude, but at this moment, like I said, because this is actually do not have a lot of experience with the open source projects, so this is going to be my first. I just want to see how you guys are working, and then maybe if you feel confident enough, I can contribute, then I would like that.
Okay, cool. I can't fully understand you, but anyway, thanks for that. Let's move on. Okay, so the graduation, we had a discussion before the call started recording. Pretty much there's a process that we're going through to apply to the CNCF to graduate the project to a top level project. It's not quite the word, it's just a graduated project, but we have this is the link to the main meeting notes for the community meeting, but there's this general technical review, which is the main work item for the overall project, which is just answering lots of questions like so that someone who has no idea about the project could review the project. That's the idea of this from a technical perspective. Most of the answers are very specific to each project. In our case, the main task that comes out of this is trying to get one of these badges, or one of these open SSF badges to, I don't know what the specific level is, maybe it's gold or something, for each of the projects that we're graduating, which for reference, who don't know, it's these ones. There will be other projects that come in over time. Obviously, that doesn't include the manifests or KServe, because those are in separate orgs, but those might join again at other times. But these are the ones we're presenting, as stable or usable and things. And notebooks is one of them. So we need to make sure that we have this badge, and this badge pretty much just goes through a self-attestation of things that you would expect a well-run project to have. And so we do most of these already, but because we're currently in the process of making a version 2 and moving code between repos, it becomes a bit more complicated. So this is, we'll be working on this, but in the short term, our goal is to get this done at least to some level that we can submit the application before the end of this month, probably, really. So we'll reach out to the person who has ownership of that one, and we'll probably submit this, and we'll probably add this to the top of this repo like we do for the other ones, and it will just refer to everything related to notebooks, not just 1.0, 2.0 as well. And so it's gonna get a bit confusing, but it's better than nothing. Okay. Anyone got anything they want to add about graduation in the recording? Cool. Okay. I haven't had a chat with AMD recently, but they said that they were going to fix something at a Kubernetes wide level so that we can actually have an AMD image that doesn't require root published for notebooks by default. We'll see when that eventually gets rolled out. I think they've got some plans to do it. Anyone from AMD want to say anything who's here? Probably not. I don't think so. Okay. And the migration of code, this is again 1.0 task. I'm a bit worried that some stuff is getting merged without serious review in the dashboard repo. So maybe we do need to kind of rein that in a little bit. I think it's just because stuff is getting authored in here from the manifests people. I'm not exactly sure. So obviously Julius is approving stuff because he can approve stuff. We do need to figure out what's going on there. Some of these PRs also look a little bit worrying to me, but these are just around the release process right now. So I think he's just working on the Angular rewrite. So I don't think it's that big of a deal considering we don't use that currently. There's a rewrite of one of the components, Angular dashboard. So into Angular. So I don't know, but I just worry that it might expand to other things being merged if we're not careful. So we do need to get the release process for all the existing programs in here. And this is actually pretty important because we not just for graduation or anything. It's not even related to that. It's just if we don't have, where is it? Yeah, we need to move some of the manifests in here so that this project can be a project officially. You know, like or they reference auth as an example so that you can build your own platform with the Kubeflow components, like adding notebooks and pipelines together. But you can also use the dashboard that we provide. Anyway, so I don't know what our current plan is there, but I think we're kind of stuck at this step, which is, well, we've done some of that, but we need to get the release process finalized in here, which I don't know if Andy has had any tasks that haven't. I know there's lots of stuff hasn't been done. There's no release currently, but
yeah, so I haven't done anything with this recently. I've been on the Notebooks 2.0 stuff. So I thought we were saying that maybe me, you, and I think you mentioned somebody else. I don't know if it was Kimonis or somebody else should like huddle to articulate a plan here, but I haven't done anything.
Especially if Julius has some people contributing to stuff, it might make sense. Yeah, but we need to actually get into a room with him. He's based in Europe time, I think. He doesn't really come to these meetings. But we do obviously need to rein in from a review perspective the fact that he's in the owners, yes, but like technically we need to have some discussion around that. So I don't know exactly. Yeah, because I think we just need to understand what they're doing. Are they just trying to get Angular rewrite happening, or are they doing something else? You know, what's he doing here? And then we obviously need to get the release process for 1.0 done, because we're going to have a point at which we need to point to this repo from the notebooks repo, and that's going to come pretty soon. So of course that's when we will get blocked by it. So that's when we will have to solve it. But because we're going to have a say like, oh, to use notebooks you have to install Istio with auth and things like that. And here's a way of doing that. You could use this or something else, but here's the one way that does work out of the box. Like, so obviously we will get blocked at that point. But so I guess we could just wait until then. But I would still like to understand what the progress is before then. And also because some stuff seems to be getting merged into Kubeflow, it's a bit worrying that we have to merge commits there. It's a bit confusing. Okay, anyone want to add anything about that? Ed or anyone else? No? Okay, so of course it's a short week, but Ed, do you want to go over what our current goals are? I know that we've got two different ones, one from the original short term and one for the current one, which again, we're pretty close to the end of June already, but.
Yeah, sure. The first one that on number 1 of the short term goal for June, because those are not for the May.
But isn't May before June?
No, because this one is mostly done.
Which one can't we close out first? That's kind of what I was meaning.
Yeah. I think there is for the secrets, we are waiting for the secrets. For the first one is done, right? The second one we are penny and the PR on this.
Yeah, there's a couple of I think there's a couple of things definitely that need. Yes.
Yeah, and this one this one is the one that we are penning the PR to start and stop that is blocked right now.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and I think Harshad did the review right Andy yesterday that I pinged him.
Yeah, he's still not a member, but he did LGTM it and tested it and put notes in the file. I mean, on the PR.
So probably
hopefully we'll have more time to do that over the next few days because it's a, kind of a weekend, extra long weekend.
So probably we need you there.
Yep,
Matthew, to take a look on this one to close.
I think the secrets one is the first one I need to merge, but then.
Yep. No. Yeah. The secret. Yeah. The secret is doesn't kind of. Yeah. The secrets kind of doesn't block, but it's a good to have. But the other is functionality on the UI. The secrets is just doesn't work, doesn't do nothing. But for the second one, it's kind of blocker to have stop and stop because those are the actions that we use on the workbench.
Cool. Let's actually go through the specifics in the later part of it anyway. So on the short-term goal for this one, this is for June.
Yeah, for this month we are focusing on Joe, the cluster admin, to list workspace kind, get details about the workspace kind, and show how many workspace they're using. And you'll be able to create a workspace kind, uploading the how YAML in the editor. This was discussed and we changed it a little 2 calls ago. And also we are discussing how to connect with the workbench.
I think Harshad was looking
the
at
workspace. That. Yeah, Harshad is looking on this one.
I mean, doing it's Yeah.
I
Was there any
talked.
updates?
Sorry, just as a quick update, I talked to
No.
Harshad yesterday. He's on holiday, but he's like actively working on this now, just as an up.
Yeah, if this starts blocking us, obviously I'll come in and do the PR, but it's just like I would prefer that someone else has built up the skills to do that. But it's because it's such a complicated area that you have to understand like SDO networking and other things. And again, I think we agreed last time that we'll just do virtual service to begin with SDO, and then have a task in there which says also support the generic HTTP routing API from gateway API from Kubernetes. And as the one generic way, but we'll still definitely have an option to use virtual service because again, that's the first one that will definitely work. You know, we don't know the other one will work straight away. Because I'm assuming next month will be that you can deploy it into the cluster. You know what I mean? So like, and you won't be able to do that, and that's where we're going to get blocked by the other thing as well, where we're going to have. I want to move the reference OAuth2 proxy code next month into the dashboard repo. So that, and then obviously that's going to be its own discussion, but it will happen because it's more likely to graduate then. And the dashboard piece, which isn't graduating right now. Anyway, okay. Anything else you want to add about the short-term goals? Again, we've already got like 10 days, so.
Yeah, the team, the front end is evolving a lot and evolving fast. Like Paulo Caponeto and the others are doing a great work. And we also have wax feedback that we are doing some wax improvements from Kyle that is directly also with us also in the community. They are providing live feedback and the guys are updating. The most important one that I would say that is a beta that we need to fix in the community is the start and stop pull request to make this work. Because it's
that's for May though, right?
No, yeah, that's why for me this is the most important one to wrap up May and then focus on just on June.
Sure. Is there anything? Oh yeah, we'll come back to these specifics once we go down. Okay, so
and I don't know if you have more detailed status because you were talking with the guys
let's
yesterday.
go through the actual ones, yeah. Where the epics, yeah. So like, Andy, I guess, can go first then. As this, are these the current epics still?
Yes. Yeah. So deploy Kubeflow notebooks. I have LGTM and approved the containerized backend component, that 323, Matthew. So if you want to give it an overview or a final review to merge that, I know the developer has the manifest stuff queued up as well once the container is good. I have actually deployed his manifest, kind of just hacking together stuff. So I'm confident it's a reasonable initial Docker file for the backend. Similarly, the front end, we have went back and forth a little bit based on feedback on these calls. We are going to be using Nginx to serve. We kind of went back and forth initially just on the PR around what the Nginx conf should look like. I mean, we could spend weeks debating on optimal Nginx conf configs, but I think we have something as a MVP good on the front end as well. So getting those containerized backend and front end ones. I'll finish reviewing the front end PR tomorrow, but so we should have good Docker files ready for merge by end of week there, and then fast follows with the manifest to just deploy them.
Is there? I can't actually find the PR for this linked in the main task. Did it not reference it?
I'll go back and look at that.
Yeah, like the main thing is just make sure that whenever you create an issue or just at least comment so that the link propagates down here. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise it's hard to find.
Well, sorry, I thought that was that's okay.
Is it that
386 and 394?
But that's
back
the
end
task,
and front
right?
end.
Oh wait, 86.
386 and 384. So you see it linked down. I guess I'm confused because I see it linked down there.
Oh,
right?
there. Okay, yeah. Okay, that is painful. Okay, cool.
So that's the getting things running remotely.
I'm assuming this doesn't add a. Oh no, it just fixes the build that already has CI/CD, presumably. Actually, no, it probably doesn't have CI/CD. I take that back.
Does not have CI/CD, but there were some issues with the context on this file, and then just minor trivial changes.
I'm assuming that that's probably not correct. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's that's fine. So we can. Is this is this blocking anything? We should probably not go into too much detail. So what's the current status of this and what's blocked?
Right. So yeah, so just that 323 and 392. 323 is ready for your, like I said, I've tested it and approved 323, and 392 I will finish. We went back and forth, and I'm hoping a final review on 392 tomorrow.
Yeah, so there's different. Oh, crap, there was definitely some typos in there. But 390, 323. This one is for backend. Okay, maybe
Yeah,
that is.
so,
we really should have a there's a thing which blocks this, because obviously this is problematic when you have them in the title. But okay. There's a typo there at least. But anyway, well, we can do that testing. Yep, I'll add that to the pile of ones that I'm gonna review. Okay.
And so then the next epic repository setup and developer experience. There's been a slew of PRs open around adding kind of just basic happy path testing, just to start to, like I said, not really focusing on coverage itself per se, but just getting, when I had the developers go back in based on discussions from last week's call. So we're using Ginkgo and GoMega consistently throughout. So everyone's kind of refactored their PRs. And I'm going through, I think there's been like a total of 5. 3 of them I've went back and forth and gotten fixes and feedback on, and I'll finish the other remaining ones. There's probably going to be, like I said, around like 5 PRs total on adding backend stuff. I've opened up issues. Eder kindly just uploaded a video related to some of these planning. I have 3 different planning PRs around issue templates, as well as kind of an authorized user mechanism to make sure that you need to kind of be in this like simple allow list to be able to use our project planning templates, as we've discussed in the past, as well as some GitHub actions that make sure that, again, you're in this authorized users list to be able to add a planning label so we can more easily parse and automate kind of looking at statuses on this stuff, as well as the add and remove sub issues command. So all of that stuff has been coded up, tested, and I have a YouTube video that I'll put on the PR as well that shows these 3 PRs working together in unison. And then,
so which one actually is being blocked right now? Is it this?
3 they're all kind of interrelated. So 323, 327, and then there's a third PR I didn't add to the epic notes. So I'll update that I just recently opened.
No. Is this the latest one?
Yes.
Okay. So is this ready for review?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll add this one to the pile then. Is it this one first, or is there other? I guess this one first, right?
It doesn't really, this one or the templates one, and then there's a third PR that basically just adds a GitHub action to validate if you created an issue with a planning label, you're allowed to. But they're all kind of all related. Okay. Like it's all of them being merged is the good stuff.
So for the testing, where is that happening? I'm assuming, is anything being blocked there?
No, it's just, I'll get these issues updated. They split up some of these tasks into multiple PRs because they just had multiple people kind of pick stuff off. So I can include the list of PRs here if that's helpful, but their PRs are all open and getting reviewed. The tilt stuff,
I'll merge that one.
Still waiting for the controller one to merge. I did have a developer from the community, not a Red Hatter, open up an initial PR for backend. But there's some issues there, so I'm waiting to follow up with them. They didn't really have a commit message, so it's a little hard to kind of follow. So I'm just waiting for some, and the initial sanity checks weren't passing. So waiting to link up with them as they become available to kind of get that going to extend that into the backend. Obviously, we need that backend containerized PR to go first so they can like rebase theirs. They base their changes on that backend PR, but obviously there's an ordering dependency there. So I'll continue to work with that developer. And then the Swagger stuff, there was one new issue opened up that I reviewed, and they just pushed changes this morning. So tomorrow I'll get back on that. But I had a question here on this that we can push to the end of the call around how closely we want to, currently that file is done for Swagger 2.0. And if we want to keep that at 2.0 versus, OpenAPI 3.0, I mentioned this because specifically when rendering examples in a Swagger doc, annoyingly, it's an X example extension property in Swagger 2.0 versus a supported example property in OAS 3.x. And so it just changes the metadata that we include in Go comments.
Are they not mapped
different
to each other?
They are unfortunately not. You can support both of them, but the example command only writes out an example attribute. It doesn't like intelligently say, oh, you're using Swagger 2.0, so I'll change this to X example. You can change the annotation to get the X example to appear, but it's like you have to kind of commit to one or the other, which is unfortunate.
I mean, let's just stick with what we have right now, 2.0, and then we can just talk about 3.0 later. I think that's
it's a very easy global search and replace if we wanted to go to 3.0. So that's kind of where I was at as well. So okay, good to know. So I'll get that updated.
Okay. It's
and good
just
to
a
go.
reference anyway. It's just a reference tool. So yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, those are my updates.
Anything else blocking you here and repository setup?
No, like I said, I think we'll be close. Like I said, by the end of next week, I'd like to think that, all PRs are out there. We could probably reasonably declare victory on that. And then, I mean, we'll never be done with this kind of stuff, but I think closing up this act, but to open up a more targeted one, assuming we get the PRs reviewed.
And I think, we need to have one task that everyone kind of needs to help do is figure out getting all the other tasks that are in this.
I have an update for that later on when if we have time for it. So, yep. So,
okay, cool. Editor. Hi. What's your
Hello.
epic?
Yes, this one is just to set up a new workspace. We are blocked for two things on the backend. One is the backend is the NDPR that I mentioned in the beginning. And no, sorry, not this one. This one is just for the secrets that we need to merge this one to set up because we are ignoring the secrets code on the front end, but we have all the wizards and all the functionality working. And as soon as we have the secrets, we can wrap up this.
Yep, that's definitely the first PR I'm going to do today.
Yep. Yep. And the second one is that we are planning for you to double check the review of NDPR.
Which one?
It's
oh yeah, because we had me and Andy had a long discussion about that a couple days ago. I haven't seen the follow-up.
Yeah, I'm already on the next one. And imagine updating the running workspace.
Okay.
And this one we need to
where is that actually? Is that in here?
Is the second next epic.
Oh, this one.
Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah, it's from Paulo. This one is this one is done on the front end. We need to get approval for NDPRs that Harshad review it.
Is this correct PR now?
Sorry.
Yep.
Are you sharing your screen? Because it disappeared.
Oh no, it should be
I'm seeing the screen.
Yes, this 340 is the correct one with the changes we had talked about, Matthew, and Harshad reviewed it after we implemented those. And this was around using the JSON patch and all that jazz.
And as soon as we get this merged, we are able to integrate this with the front end that is already there, the code, and do the call and do start and stop.
Now that we've got start and stop, we probably also need to change the controller to not apply the redirects as well.
Yep.
Like that's and then to make sure that gets reflected by the UI now only. Okay. This one again, I think this one could end up with a lot of possible things that we should do, if you know what I mean. And I don't want to block this one because it's a pretty basic functionality, but I think we need to make sure that we take a note that there is complexity here that we're going to realize later. Things additional validations where it's like clearly starting and stopping are like destructive actions, right? And so adding more sanity checks to the API to prevent the API from doing things that are unexpected. Like you can imagine where you end up in a state that you don't expect. We're doing some validation because we're using a patch, we're using the patch test, but I don't know if there's other checks we probably want to do as well. But
we can do this as a follow-up, right?
Yeah, but we just need to make sure that we remember to look at it, because I think it's one of those things where there is definitely possibility for problems. At very least, like even just preventing DDoSing and things like that, right? Like, I think that the test API should prevent that, right? But
yes.
Yeah, because like you can't.
I mean, like in theory, yes.
Like if you just go spam on off, like I assume it would reject you, right? Because
not if you toggle back and forth right now. I mean, if you introduce a long enough, if you go on off, that will fail. But you could like introduce like a 3-second delay, or you know what I mean, to where it's validly switching those states back and forth. We're not guarding that right
Well, that's
now.
fine. If it's more like, yeah, I don't want it to get ahead of the controller is kind of what I'm meaning.
Yeah, so, but no, it ensures like, some like reasonable starting point. So yeah, so that just like rapid toggling will start,
and so
fail fast.
Under this one, is there anything blocking other than that? Secrets? And
No, just the secrets, and we can have the first version.
To be able to create inline, obviously we need to do UI stuff, I imagine. But
Yep.
so
But we can do this as a follow-up.
Does the UI have a PR to use that new API?
The secrets one?
Yes. So the UI uses it. It's when the controller PR merges, we basically have to like uncomment some code in the backend, right? So the backend honors it and then just comments out the code that would actually proxy this or not.
The only reason why that hasn't been merged, by the way, is just because it needs some tests, and getting the tests on the state is actually really painful because it's like I'm trying to get it to so that there's two parallel full test suites that run end to end, and then once someone else can come in and make a nice way to do it automatically for 20 different test flows. But just getting the first second one is actually complicated, and that's the only reason why I'm like, the code is there and it does work. Well, I don't know it works until I've got the test there. That's kind of what I mean, right? Like,
I did pull your branch and test it, so I know end to end. And not to say that like I've hit all edge cases, right? But I've seen with your code there running and the backend code in place, I have seen the UI create end to end. So there's that basic check.
The only the factor is just that I don't want regression there's very complicated state generation in that PR. Like the status of the workspace is very, very, very complex in its code. And I don't think there's any way we can avoid that because it's just a lot of state situations that can happen. And
it will be a follow-up PR for this one regarding the volumes creation, because we are just attaching the volumes.
Yeah,
there.
Creating a volume. We do need to discuss what should be restricted or not.
Where if you're going to have storage classes, but Andy, we are working on a proposal for this, right?
We will eventually once the Istio thing gets squared away. But yes, that's kind of currently next up on the
is on the list.
Yes.
Okay. Anything blocking here then other than that?
Nope. And for the one that I talked with Paulo is this just a start and stop. And there's also the edit workspace is something that Guilherme is working, and Muhammad from the community is also working from the backend.
So what's blocking this one, or is it?
Is in progress.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Cool. I don't think there's any PRs in the backend yet for this system.
I think Muhammad didn't send the PR for this.
Has he made one, or is it because it's something that we can probably just take what Andy's done almost and do a very similar thing, So I'm just wondering if Andy would be better to do it, or if it's actually got.
I'll follow up because he did respond to me in Slack and said that if he's watching the recording, no problems here. But he had said last week like I'll have this ready in a day or two, and then I haven't heard anything. But he was still engaged, so I can follow back up. But he did because I told him I could reassign. But he said he was
developer
on it.
problem, right? It'll take a day.
Yes, but I'll follow back up. So if he's comfortable and he thinks he can get it out, great. If he needs help, we'll go with another plan. But
we should keep onboarding him because he helped on other PRs.
Oh no, I want to. Yeah,
he was the one that did the Swagger generation part. Took a while, but he contributed. It's good to have more people.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, but if people don't.
And this is not our super critical path as well for now. So.
Yeah, it's definitely good for the front end to have real connection to the back end though in this particular area, because I think there's a lot that could go wrong. But again, it does connect back to this update as well, right? You know what I mean? Like this actually really does connect back to the applying updates on restart. Like is that this API or is it a separate one, like that's
it's a separate one. This is not this is
but it does both, like that's the thing, right? It's like it does this could be used. It's kind of what I'm saying, and it's like maybe the front end doesn't care, right? Like that's anyway. So that's where it's like there's a lot that could go wrong, and handling the error conditions out of the controller and validating webhook is also important. I did a lot of unpacking in the initial thing, so you can hopefully just use that. But I think there's probably a lot of error states, kind of similar to how Andy, you've got like various HTTP states for the start and stop. Like unpacking what did this, so the controller said no. in what reason did it say no, right? You know what I mean? Like, is it, you know, is it because the user made an error? Is it because, you know what I mean? Like these kind of, is it, yeah, okay. Anyway, anything blocking this then?
And just
Other Andy's PR, obviously, but.
yeah, Andy's PR, yeah. And the next one is connecting Matthew, if you want, and others. If you want to read the comment, I asked because Samin told me that they use a lot yeah, on the chat. And there's a feedback for the Y that you're building. And yeah, the connect part, that's why I'm connecting. The connect part that is still missing is part of the thing that we're discussing here, Samin. And there is in progress to connect for a running notebook.
Yeah, so yeah, the Notebooks 2.0 right now is not usable for anyone, so don't try use it, please. But it's unless you're developing it. Yeah, there will be a doc which explains how to use it. Initially, that doc will just literally be the developing doc, right? But it's going to say something like, go install Istio at this version or later, install the dashboard if you're not using a custom one, this version or later, install an auth system, either from the dashboard repo or your own one, and here's the correct requirements.
Yeah. What I told her, her, Samin, is that on the chat, Matthew, is that we should is a good time to provide feedback on the why and the flows, especially because the person mentioned that he's a DevOps persona. He can help with the things that we're discussing for Joe, that is the system admin. Just for curiosity, I don't know if you can share this. How many notebooks your company use? What's the number of the notebooks? Is tens, hundreds, thousands?
It's not like I don't know if you guys can be clearly now.
It's still kind of glitchy.
It's still kind of glitchy.
Pretty bad, yeah.
I'm so sorry. Network is really crappy. I did try to use the mic as well. I'm sure. We're a small team of researchers and because the DevOps engineer. So you can hundreds of books are being used.
I don't think I can understand you, honestly.
Yeah, I think you mentioned hundreds, right?
Yeah.
So hundreds here shouldn't be a huge problem. Yeah, like
yeah. But it's cool. It's cool to hundreds is a good number for you to provide feedback for us on the UI flows.
Especially once we get a first version. Yeah. But obviously, I wouldn't recommend anyone using the pre-release in production.
No. I'm saying this. I'm saying that take a look on the UI, see if it fits your use case, and then provide feedback.
Public though aren't the UI that's going to be there. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the admin UI stuff is in the workspace kind page, which we haven't got in there yet.
Yeah, but it's there to provide feedback.
Definitely, we can talk. We should share with the people who know the plan of what the workspace kind is going to do. Although it's going to be very iterative anyway. So just getting involved is the best way to start out.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Get involved because we can build the best for the community, and the feedback is more than welcome.
Sure.
Yep. Okay. Hashad's not here, obviously, but what's our status on this one? The virtual service? Obviously, he's away, probably, but.
Yeah, so I know he's kind of pivoted to, instead of trying to figure out this abstraction design proposal right now, he is actively looking at kind of reworking this PR based on the guidance that you'd kind of initially put in this issue that wasn't addressed. So I have a meeting with him tomorrow to see where he's gotten, but he's looking at getting the implementation out so we can actually have this functionality available, and then we'll figure out abstractions and how people can plug their own later. So that's kind of, I know he's in that headspace.
Yeah, the separate, obviously this is a future one, but the culling control obviously needs to get merged as well. I think testing for that one is going to be the main thing, because there is a PR that's massive there by Adam, but it's like, and it might actually be correct, but it needs so many tests to know whether it's actually correct, I think. Yeah, because it's quite a complicated thing. It's like making probes and various other things, and we need to be very careful there. But anyway, that can be a next sprint thing, I think. Once we get this part sorted out, probably Shard can help manage that. Because that's definitely an important feature. Anything blocking him from being able to do that, or not really?
No, he said it was progressing well. He's got some other Red Hat stuff that he's dealing with right now, but he said he's good on this. It's just a matter of sitting down to
we probably need to get other people involved, because
like
just leads of the epic shouldn't be responsible for the task. You know what I mean? They're responsible to get it done if they happen to also be the person, but there should be at least 2 people involved. Like that's kind of my worry. But like obviously the other people in the controller are really me and Adam, and maybe there's some other people in the future. But yeah, So if you're a controller expert and you really have time to work with us and on board to the project, please reach out. And maybe the best way to do it is to start out by giving a review of this one, which is quite a complicated feature. And if you successfully review that and make good feedback, it would be an indicator that you should help out. If you're wondering, go to this issue. It's about how workspaces are automatically turned off once they're not used. It allows for very arbitrary commands to be provided by the admin, and enabling that uses the kubectl, no, not kubectl, kubelet exc REST API and a bunch of other things that I think there will be many improvements. This PR is quite, I think it can be improved. It might technically work right now, but I do worry that it's not, like, for example, using generic versions of some of the APIs. It's like hard coding some assumptions about the way the API currently works when it could just use the upstream kubectl package internally, for example. Okay, anything blocking else here? I don't think so. I think we got that. Jenny obviously isn't here, but they were working on...
Yeah, she's working. She sent a bunch of pull requests that are working with Kubeflow X to improve the UI. I merged like 2 or 3 for her.
And so for June, what is... So this workspace kind, right? Yeah.
And you are more aware of what the guys are working, right?
Yeah, so at least for on front end, waiting to hear from Charles on where he's at, because I know he's been doing some kind of future exploration on what like form inputs would look like, and I didn't hear back from him yesterday on where he's at in terms of just the basic raw YAML. So that's close, if not there already in a PR somewhere. For backend, I just saw the create via YAML upload was opened this morning, so I haven't had a time to look at it. The update via YAML, I have some questions, Matthew, if we have time. I know we're already over time, but just some implementation details on thoughts. I did an initial static review of that PR. There's a few things I wasn't comfortable with, so we'll rework that. But there are some assumptions that we're making there that I'd want to check with you, obviously, with as well. But create an update on the back end are,
I mean, the
very,
controller
very close.
should protect you most of the time. The validating webhook should protect you from most issues that you could accidentally do. So if it physically works, then it might be right. But I would have to check.
The main crux here, and like I said, we don't need to make this a long drawn out thing, was just what like server side apply versus patch versus update. And so, you know, thoughts on what we wanted to do there.
That's a really good question. Let's talk about it later.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, and so for anything else under here, obviously there's a logo proposal. I don't know what the steps are on that. I haven't really followed up on it.
I think I saw someone paste in here in the doc, isn't it?
Well, there was new ones that haven't been put in the doc. There was more proposals made. I don't know if that person is here. We should probably just wait until I hope that the problem is I think someone pinged Andre and he might misunderstand that we haven't made consensus yet. But let me
there's a like in the Kubeflow notebooks channel there was
I definitely like where we're heading, but I think there is iteration that needs to take place. But maybe the idea is that we send it to the CNCF and then they just have a designer.
Yeah, Matthew, the way that we work with this was Jenny that sent for Andre. Probably he understood. Is this with the CNCF you can do iterations with them as well. We did them for Model Registry. So we don't have to accept the first
elements that make sense. I do worry that some of the like I'll paste in the latest ones. But like for example, I think that any designer who's worth what they're being paid would know that probably this is too much going on, right? Like so this like I like we might need to delete this element, like the white element. You know what I mean? For example, like it might be fine if that was the main element, but. Or even just putting that in the center. I don't know.
This is something that CNSF, the CNSF you send us back, Matthew.
We need to write. I can make the request. We just need to know what to write, right? You know what I mean? Like everyone should be able to see it. It's just we need to make like these are some ideas we had. Make this into something that could actually be used as a
exactly. And then if you on the model registry, I think we did 2 or 3 back and forths with them until we find the best logo.
Yeah. I don't know. They probably won't do any. There's probably no reason to raise it before next week because they probably won't respond. It's the weekend, but the long weekend in the US. But we obviously need to have it before. This one's not a blocker. I think this one can bubble along. We shouldn't let it distract us. But this one can bubble along for months, if you know what I mean. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't. That's fine. Okay.
Every time that I take a look on the website of Kubeflow, I say,
okay, then.
Because our current
you want to be
there.
more sad is that, you know, the fact that now we've got this ridiculously committee worded sentence at the beginning. This is so much worse. There's like everyone has to add their freaking stuff. Every time we try and claw this back to small again, it just keeps expanding out again and again and again because everyone keeps being like, oh no, it needs to say this and this.
Oh,
at very least, this should have a separate paragraph here, I think. It's just madness. And also this like screwing with our tagline, I'm a little bit worried about that. Anyway, okay.
Did they shrink this time the tagline?
I thought that we agreed to do that, but then they kind of did it secretly. Like supposedly the KSC voted, but you know how, you know, government like bodies trying to make logos.
You are still on recording.
I know. You know how that goes though. Like as I'm saying, I think everyone agrees that committee design is bad design. Anyway, I don't know what's going on there because it feels very out of the blue. Oh, it's too much PRs lately. Okay. Anyway, that'll be an iterative process as well, I think. But the issue with that, just for everyone's reference, is there's a lot of debate around what Kubeflow is. As the graduation is happening, we're presenting ourselves as a collection of tools rather than a platform. Not to say that you can't build platforms, but that we are not a platform. And as a result, there's a lot of debate around the wording of what is Kubeflow. Anyway, okay. Logos, I guess the next steps are probably need to wait till next week.
Yep.
Up with a like what's the word like an old portfolio, but like a like design brief using our ideas, document listing our ideas and reference images, e.g. elements which can be presented to the CNCF design contractor for iteration on creating a final logo. Okay, we can obviously, if someone has a designer internally who wants to do it as well, that's fine, but
this is the for reference. Maybe you can just copy this one and do yours.
Let's just send the exact same one. Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, so the idea is we also don't want to prescribe that they follow this design or whatever. It's more like just like, oh, there's some elements that we could like, I'm sure that it's going to be way more simple than this. Like even just like take that single element and do something around it to make it show connected. I don't know, right? Like it's just the idea of connection and anyway, acceleration, who knows? So, other than that, I don't want to keep everyone more than the hour. We're already over the time.
I have to go as well.
Is there anything else anyone wants to say on the recording? If not, I will stop and we can stay on for a little bit of time to talk about specific PRs if people have ideas. Okay, thanks everyone for coming on this holiday.